It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Wednesday. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, behind the glass on the ones and twos. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. What's up, JoJo?
It is time for your morning traffic report. Make sure you avoid Donaldson Pike today because it's down to one lane. So, find an alternate route. Don't go over there because it is an utter disaster.
65 northbound and southbound are also very slow this morning, so watch out for that.
And that's your traffic
We'll
report.
have weather in 10 minutes.
Brought to you on the ones. Now this message from sponsor, Dr. Crane.
And the Beastie Boys.
Sorry, I was talking to Ian back here.
Well, you need to talk to us.
Yeah, why don't you pay attention here, pal?
I'm just
in here.
You guys want to know the big news?
Yeah.
So Nashville SC has now extended Mike Jacobs to 2028, but he has a new job title. President of Soccer Operations.
Oh, where have I heard this
Oh,
before?
my gosh.
So does that mean he's not the GM anymore, or
I think he's still the GM, but also has another
okay.
level to his job.
Okay.
What's the power structure there? How's that go? John Ingram is the owner, right?
Right.
And then the GM or the
Then
Mike Jacobs?
You have Ian Air as well.
Ian Air.
Yep.
Okay.
And then probably Mike Jacobs. That's your
Who-
trifecta up there.
Who was the coach that got let go last year?
Gary Smith.
Gary Smith. Yes. I actually got in trouble one time on TV because I ran a soundbite from him and I said, he sounds more like a Bond villain than a soccer coach. And they were not too happy with the JoJo.
Yeah, they
And
don't.
the JoJo did not care.
Yeah, they.
The JoJo. That's
The
right.
JoJo.
By the
That's
way,
you.
today's
You're like the
supposed,
Rock.
supposed to be one of the hottest days ever on April 30th. So, do you know this?
Well, every day's a hot day with us around. Am I right?
Sure
Am I
is.
right?
It sure is. So, stay weather aware out there today.
Yeah, do that for sure. I had the
Sure.
sunroof open today. Oh, show.
In the sunroof, I mean, I'm
It's
telling
just,
you,
it's a game changer.
you will never have another car again that you will not have a sunroof.
I have to have a sunroof. So I mean, the window, and it's making me roll the windows down. I'm turning the AC off. Like, I would be proud of me. I'm changing. I'm growing
got
as
him.
a person.
We got him, Dr. Crane. We
I
got
love
him.
it. I love it.
I mean, it's still on some, but I'm growing as a person.
I like that.
I'm evolving.
I like the fact that you are growing. I tweeted this out earlier today, but on this day, April 30th, 1996, Nashville's future changed forever when the NFL approved the Houston Oilers moving to Nashville by a vote of 23-6.
Was that today?
April 30th? This was
Wow.
not the Nashville vote.
Yeah. The
This
NFL, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one team abstained from voting on that of whether or not to allow the Oilers to move to Nashville. One
Cowboys?
team. Nope.
Cleveland.
It's an AFL team that came into the league with the Oilers.
Kansas City,
No,
Miami,
no,
New England,
no,
Buffalo.
no. You're rolling down the AFL like this.
The Jets.
No,
They were the Titans.
that's right.
Um,
This ownership had its own
Broncos.
problems.
Broncos.
Nope. With relocation.
own problems with relocation.
In fact, NFL sued him.
Oh, Al Davis.
Al
Raiders.
Davis.
That's right. There you go.
Yep, that was the one. They abstained from the vote. So you can ask. We can ask John McClain at 9:30 about that. But it changed Nashville's future. Obviously, I mean that team doesn't come here.
Yeah.
We'd have got something eventually.
So I got a question. Like, along these lines of talking about the team moving here, I have been a little surprised by, and maybe it's just, the talking heads like us, but like I turned Jared on yesterday and he's still complaining about the number, about Warren Moon's number. Robbie, Rexroad, Koharski, we're all talking about it today of like, why retire a number if you're going to unretire it? And Abdul Carter asking LT for his number and LT basically telling him to take a hike, which was very on brand with LT. But I mean, I get it, but I think for me, it's that, and it's no disrespect meant towards Warren Moon whatsoever, but it's just that was the Oilers, that was Houston, and we keep coming back to that separation of basically two franchises within one, which again I've been fine with, but at the same time it's like I'm realizing how picky and choosy I'm being when it comes to being, because it's like they complain in Houston about the Oilers
Right.
uniforms, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, they belong to this franchise and they're cool, and I like that they wear them. But at the same time, then it's like, well, Warren Moon was a Houston Oiler. He wasn't a Tennessee Titan, so it shouldn't matter.
So would you have rather had it been what the Ravens and Browns did? Because Modell moved the team, right? Still the same ownership, but when he became the Ravens, the Browns, and they agreed you would not take the history of the Browns with you. So the Browns came back in 99. They just picked up. There was like a 3 or 4 year gap, whatever it was, for the Browns. Would that have been better had they done that?
Maybe. I mean, I think me personally, I would not care if the Houston Texans were the Houston Oilers. Like, it wouldn't bother me one bit if they were, because this is my team. Like, I wasn't, when they first moved here, they were the Tennessee Oilers. I was 10 years old, and I was one of those people that was kind of like, I'm not that into it, because I was a Cowboys fan. They were still obviously really good, and
Yeah.
so I kind of gravitated more towards them because they were the Tennessee Oilers. Like, I didn't feel like I had ownership of that. When they pulled out that flaming thumbtack and opened the stadium and the two-tone blue and became the Titans, that's when they became my team. And I think a lot of people here feel that way. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here. I get it. Because the other thing is, I do agree, if you retire a number, then the number should be retired. And I get that there, I guess, like with the Yankees, there's a couple of instances where, a couple players wore the same number early on and, in history and stuff. But like, if you're going to retire a number, like, no one should wear 9, no one should wear 27 again.
Okay.
And so I get the argument of one's retired. It's Warren Moon. He's in the Hall of Fame. You shouldn't wear it. And the other thing is, when Cam was asked about it, he kind of acted like it was no big deal, of like, yeah, I would have worn 7. So it's almost like the organization or Warren or somebody made it a bigger deal than it really needed to become. But I'm fascinated that everybody continues to talk about it. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it now because it's just, It's one of those, it's like, just keep the number retired. Like, if you're going to retire it, just keep it retired.
Well, I mean, we've beaten the draft to death. Now we're going to we're going to beat this to death.
Well, what's funny is somebody asked me, because like my friend group has kind of learned of like, hey, we want to sit and talk sports, but like Chase has to do this over and over and over and over again. So it's like, they try and give me a break. And they're like, so are you glad the draft's over? And I go, yep. Tired of talking about the same thing over and over again. Now we have other stuff to talk about over and over again.
Let me ask you this. You got to get it within you got to get within 25 million. Dr. Crane, you play too. How much did Nissan Stadium cost to build when it was open in 1999? This was the initial cost of Nashville Stadium, as it was called back then. How much?
Wasn't it like 300 million or something like that?
Dr. Crane?
Well, Ian has given me the nice number. I'm going to say 250 million.
Chase McCabe.
Oh,
292 million.
It was around that. So what I'm curious of is what that would be. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, when I tell people that are like, why are they building a new stadium? They built this thing pretty cheap, like, because they built it quick. And at the time,
well, Nashville gave gave them everything.
Which, again, another discussion. I don't think that was a terrible thing, because look what it's done for the city.
Oh, I agree. And then people complained about it. I'm like, what did it do to you? Now, I got a problem with the new stadium, because they're taking all this money when our elementary schools and middle schools have gone to garbage in Davidson County. That bugs me. That really, really bugs me. So when the NFL could cut a check and cover everything, now you're taking public funds. People are like, oh, shut up. That's fine. I will shut up. But I'm telling you, go visit one of these elementary schools, one of these middle schools around here. Falling apart, man.
I agree.
Falling apart.
I get it. So 290 million, that was in what, 95?
Roughly,
96?
Yeah.
Is worth 608,541,000 today.
and they're building a $2.1
$1
billion
billion stadium.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a price of business.
Yeah.
I get it,
615
man.
737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. So where are you on the number? Should they have kept it retired?
Don't hate me. I don't care.
All right. Okay.
I know.
That's
I
fine.
really
That's-
don't. And but I see both sides.
Sure. And I think ultimately I don't care either.
But here's another problem. I got a problem if they unretire 34. So I'm a hypocrite.
Right. Right. And I got a problem if they unretire 9 or 27.
Right.
Here's the other thing. Here's another sidebar to this discussion. There is something that I honestly would be fine if it went away completely in sports, and your majority of you are probably going to think I'm stupid, but I'll tell you what it is coming up next. And because you're intrigued.
You're like a young Ryan Seacrest.
I got you. I will tell you what it means coming up next. We are live today in the BZB Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
my Houston Oilers jersey will probably never be worn again. I hope it won't. But the Tennessee Titans jersey is going to be worn by Cam, and Cam will be starting a new, not regime here, but just a new freshness in this organization to kind of revitalize it and get it back to where it was a number of years ago, one of the more successful organizations in the league.
What's that number mean to you? Did you know any of this was going on? At what point were you planning to ask him? How did all that go?
I've been asked him. I called him about a month ago. So, I didn't know this was going on, but, I knew this was going to happen. I'm excited that, Mr. Moon was able to, bless me with giving me this number. But I think to me, the number would never mean anything. It's all about the plays you make on the field, so I'm ready for this opportunity with my teammates.
All right. So that was Cam Ward and Warren Moon last week as we continue to kind of talk about this. And it leads us through different things. But there's one thing that I think shouldn't have, I don't like it. And I think it should go away. I don't think you should wear the number 1. I'm going to be in the minority on this. I get it. But I have always been bothered with wearing number 1.
Why?
Because it just comes across as you're saying you're number 1 and you haven't proven anything yet. Again, I admit that this is a little bit of old man yelling at cloud, but
right.
I've never been a fan of a player wearing the number 1. I just feel like it just.
So your perception that somebody wears number 1 is they're a diva?
For lack of better words, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never liked it. I've never been like, and I have some, Warren Moon. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Warren Moon. Ozzie Albies with the Braves wears number 1. Gary Anderson wore number 1 with the Titans. I don't like it. It's just weird to me. But that's me. It's a personal thing. I don't know why. I've always kind of felt that way.
Best athletes to ever wear the number 1 jersey: Cam Newton, Oscar Robertson,
Yep.
Warren Moon, Ozzie Smith,
Yep.
Devin Booker. Okay, there's Cam. Jacques Plante, or Plante. I don't know these hockey names. Jacques Plante, Plant. I don't know. Somebody.
It's a goal. It's a goalie number, really, in hockey.
Jason Elam, the great Billy Martin. He's a manager, though.
Byron says, "Hot take there, Suit."
That's a hot take. Yeah, you're right. That is on. There's not many number 1 jersey heroes of all time. If you're giving me Jason Elam, a kicker at number 1,
Jalen Hurts. You say him?
Jalen Hurts or Hurd?
Hurts.
I did not.
Yeah,
he did not make this list.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he wear 1?
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Is Kyler Murray 1?
He is.
Yeah. I mean, so quarterbacks in the league that currently wear 1: Cam Ward, Jalen Hurts, Kyler
Murray. Yeah.
Is there anybody else?
What's no?
Tua.
Is Tua 1?
Is Tua 1?
I think he
Numero
is,
uno.
isn't he?
Yep.
No, why I thought he was 13.
Well, that was his college number, but with the Dolphins, he couldn't wear it because it's retired.
Hell yeah. Dan Marino, best quarterback of all time. Watch your mouth.
See, and that's the other thing. That kind of goes back to, now I'm getting mad about this again. That goes back to the, Warren Moon is a Hall of Famer. Now, when you're talking about the elite of the elite, he's not on that list. But still, shouldn't he deserve the same respect as having his number retired as anybody else?
Yeah.
I mean, if the organization made that decision.
But, man, we got a dichotomy here. You got 2 different cities, same franchise,
right.
A lot of splintered thoughts, and that's the problem. Again, I'm the hypocrite of saying, hey, I want to, don't touch Earl Campbell's number, but you can touch Warren Moon.
But what you're basically saying is there's different tiers that you're in.
And there shouldn't be.
Like Earl Campbell, in your mind, is elite of the elite, untouchable. You leave him alone. Warren Moon is Hall of Fame, really good.
No.
But okay.
Hall of Fame, he's damn good.
Right. But elite.
Right.
Are you saying he's elite? He's
absolutely
not elite.
Is. Warren Moon, elite. I don't care if you're doing a Super Bowl or not. That dude is elite.
But but again, like, is he Tom Brady elite? No. There's a
Well,
difference.
now you get to a different level, but he's in the
Right.
Hall of Fame. He made the
Sure,
Hall of
the
Fame.
Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't, I've always said, if you get in the Hall of Fame, I don't care if you're first ballot or it takes you 10 years. Like, you get in, you're in.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I get that. That's perfect. And I love that. But that's why I'm torn with the Earl Campbell and Warren Moon. I'm torn, but you talk about he can't wear 13 with the Dolphins. Well, Marino, I mean, that's been a solid one city franchise the entire
Right,
time. You're not going
right.
to take that away. And if what if Marino said you can wear 13? I have no problem with it. Is that better?
No, like, I think what I almost have the biggest problem with is Warren, like, he showed up and did the whole thing and it was cool and whatnot, but it's like, why? Just keep it retired. Like, I wish he had been like LT and been like, no, get another number. That's mine. I would have been fine with that.
Okay.
Like, it's because here's the thing. No one's ever going to have the stones to ask Steve McNair's family, hey, can I wear 9? No one's ever going to do that.
No.
And if they try, the organization's going to be like, don't even try.
Right.
No one's ever going to ask Eddie, hey, can I wear 27? Because now that's this franchise. But there's still kind of it's just the Oilers.
I get it. No other teams really got to
And
go
Warren
through this.
Warren did it, and probably got something for it. And I don't know, but like, it's just
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I guess the Browns and Ravens, when they went to Baltimore and said, we're going to start a brand new franchise in a new city, maybe the Oilers and Bud Adams should have done that.
And look, I had no problem with. I'm pretty sure now does a Raven wear Jim Brown's number? 30? What is it? 32?
Yeah, it's not the same franchise.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't
So
know
let
if
me
they-
ask you this.
But it's like the Winnipeg Jets. Like they basically, when the new Winnipeg Jets in the NHL came about, the Phoenix Coyotes gave them the history and said, here, that goes with you.
All right, here's what Warren Moon had to say to Amy Adams after the celebration on Monday.
Louder! Show me the money! That's it, brother, but you got to yell that shit! Show me the money! I need to feel you, Jerry! Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell!
I wish I would have known.
If you got
That's
to hear
okay.
that in the world, there we go. We try
on
hard.
the internet. You heard it.
We
On
try
the
hard.
radio, you hopefully didn't.
Show me the money. All right, so here's a question for you. All
That's
right,
why I get so nervous when he's like, hey, I just thought of this.
the Oilers. All right, so Bud Adams brings a team to Nashville. He said, I'm going to change the name. That way, leave the Oilers down there. If you're buying a franchise, put them in Houston, do you want the Oilers name or does Chase McCabe want his own name on the team? Because right now, back then, nobody liked Bud Adams in Houston.
That is a great question.
What's more?
So if I'm a kid in Houston, but okay, so am I a kid in Houston that I don't remember the Oilers the first time around?
No, it doesn't.
Or I
no,
do.
You're buying the team. You're
I'm
buying
buying the
the
team?
franchise. Do you want the name? You want your own name, right? To put on there. And what's more beloved, the Browns or the Oilers?
I want the name, and no offense, I would have come up with a better name than the Texans.
Yeah. So the Browns,
because that's not your own name. That was already used.
right? The Browns is an historic franchise,
Right.
going back to the 20s or 30s, whenever. Oilers only started in 1960, so I would want my own name, my own history, everything. So Bud brought it with him, and I don't fault him for that. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Kalina says some hot dog kid wore number 1 in your Pee Wee or Little League, Chase. Sounds like childhood trauma.
It
No,
was.
I don't think it's that.
Do you know why, Kalina? It's because Jalen Hurd ran over Chase downtown one night wearing the number 1 UT jersey. That got you mad.
I didn't care then.
Is Pavia number 1?
No, he's number 2.
Number 2. All right.
Now, it's Byron asked, what about 0 or 00? Here's the thing. I don't like 0, but I love 00.
Yeah.
Jim Otto.
Jim
Like,
Otto,
bring
right.
back 00. I want some, bloody nose, taped knuckle, just big, huge behemoth wearing 00 on the offensive line. Like,
What do
that
you
would
think
be
the
awesome.
buyout is from T-Rack to Cam Moore if that were to happen? I mean, T-Rack's asking for a couple mil, right?
Something like that.
T-Rack can't be demanding stuff because he ran over a quarterback. That's still following him around. So he can't, I don't think he can be demanding that. Real quick, before we get to John, because somebody was like, like numbers that are US numbers that should be retired or whatever. I mean, look, I don't think 3 should be raced in NASCAR. I don't think 43 should be raced in NASCAR.
I 100% agree.
And you know what? I'll make the argument now. 48 shouldn't be raced in NASCAR. Those guys are 7-time champions.
Is that Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 24, there's an argument for. You can't retire every number, but like there are some that should be done, be retired,
Right. Let me ask this before we go to the break.
and they never will be.
What number has been retired more times by any other Major League Baseball team than any other number?
3,
Nope.
1.
No. Number 20
Really?
has been retired by 11 teams more than any other number.
The only reason I say 3 is because like Babe Ruth wore 3 initially because he was third in the batting order. Because
Okay.
that's how you used to get your number, was like where you were in the batting order.
Look at you, Skip Nipper.
Yeah. So thank
I
you.
like it.
Coming up next, we'll talk to John McClain. We'll get his thoughts on the draft and this and so much more. He joins us next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
My Houston Oilers jersey will probably never be worn again. I hope it won't. But the Tennessee Titans jersey is going to be worn by Cam, and Cam will be starting a new, not regime here, but just a new freshness in this organization to kind of revitalize it and get it back to where it was a number of years ago, one of the more successful organizations in the league.
Warren said no. Did you have another jersey number in mind?
I'll probably go wear 7.
Warren Moon, Cam Ward, earlier, or I guess last week, chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Wednesday. We now say hello to our favorite. John McClain joins us now. He's presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. John, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So we're going to start with that because we've been talking about it really a lot, that Warren Moon, who had his number 1 retired by the organization. Bud Adams, as you know, had a rule. You went in the Hall of Fame, your number got retired. Now Amy made an exception for Steve McNair and Eddie George on that. But Warren's number 1 retired by the Titans Oilers organization, but he presented Cam Ward with the 1 jersey. He has given his blessing to unretire it. And a lot of people do have a problem with that because the jersey was retired. You covered Warren, you know Warren. What do you think about it?
Well, I think that should be up to Warren. And as he said in that soundbite, he hoped his Oilers jersey would never be worn again. In other words, he's hoping they never wear Columbia blue, that Oilers jersey, like they've decided not to do this year, but they had in the past. So I think that's a fair compromise. The Columbia blue Oilers jersey will not be worn, but the Tennessee Titans number 1 will be worn. And Warren's a class act. Didn't surprise me at all that he showed up there. He knows Cam. He talked to him before the draft. And it also didn't surprise me that Lawrence Taylor told Abdul Carter to take a hike. Although Carter wore number 11. I don't know why he's trying to get Lawrence Taylor's number. What number did Cam Ward wear in college?
He was 7 at Incarnate Word in Washington State and then 1 at Miami.
Well, as far as anybody that I know is concerned, there's only one number 1, because when Warren Moon started wearing it, nobody wore it. And when he left Canada and came to Houston in 1984 as the highest paid player in NFL history because he'd been an unrestricted free agent, and we asked him all kinds of questions about wearing number 1, the pressure that comes with number 1. He said, that's all I've ever worn. And then, of course, he did it just as first ballot member of the Hall of Fame. And Cam Ward has a lot to look up to. And I'm sure Warren is an advisor to a lot of young quarterbacks. And he's very generous with his time. And so I'll guarantee you he's going to be a confidant for Ward. And I think it's such a smooth transition and makes Moon look great.
Absolutely. John McClain's on with us today. John, this day, 1996, Houston Oilers got the approval by the NFL to move to Nashville. They needed that 3/4 vote. They came very close not to getting that. What was the temperature like in Houston during this time, or whether or not this team was coming to Nashville back then?
We all thought they were coming after the 1995 season. I remember guys like Jeff Legwall, Paul Kaharski, Terry McCormick, those guys came down here and lived and covered the team. And we just assumed they were going because once the people here knew they were gone, nobody was showing up to the games unless it was for an opponent. And the Astros were always the parent company of the Astrodome. The Oilers were landlords and treated like dogs. And no tailgating, things that once they opened the new stadium here, people went crazy because they could tailgate for the first time in history. And I remember the parent company, the Astros that ran the Dome, showed so little respect for the Oilers that season that in one Sunday, they had a game against the 49ers, and they had a lowriders convention in a building next door to the Dome. And then they had a GEM convention in another building. So the traffic was so bad for like some media friends of mine who didn't get into the press box till halftime because you had all these low riders riding in circles around the Astrodome, keeping people from getting to their parking lot. And it just was such a slap in the face of Bud Adams and the NFL and the Oilers, and I felt terrible for the players. So then they decided to hold them to their lease and keep them one more year. And so that was a disaster. They averaged like 15,000 fans for that game. And the last game, I know the Houston Chronicle, we must have had 10 reporters there to talk to every player. And I went outside the stadium where Bud's limo exited, and then I thought I'd be the only one that knew, but there were a lot of fans out there. And I didn't feel bad for Bud because Bud moved the team, even though the city basically told him to get lost. But I felt bad for Nancy because people were jumping on that limo, blocking its path, screaming the vilest things, banging on the hood, the trunk, the ceiling, throwing things at it. Finally, they got away, and I thought nobody should be subjected to that. So they got a late start after the 2016 season, getting it finalized. And I remember it wasn't till June that they actually made the total move. And then, of course, I came up spent that training camp there, and the rest is history.
John, I'm curious. There were 6 teams that voted against the Oilers moving to Nashville, and one of those was Buffalo. And I always thought Ralph Wilson and Bud were really tight. Why do you think Buffalo said no?
No, they were not tight.
Oh.
One of the reasons, Bud and Lamar Hunt were co-founders of the American Football League. Bud doesn't ever get any credit, but Lamar, first person he called was Bud. It was announced in Bud's office, but because Lamar was a great talker and Bud was not, Lamar was the front guy and Bud was behind the scenes. And Ralph Wilson, who lived in Detroit, wanted the Miami franchise. And but they gave him the Buffalo franchise, and there was a lot of discord with the co-founders, Lamar Hunt and Bud Adams. And then you saw when they were playing the Bills in Nashville, and I had tried like crazy to get Ralph Wilson to do an interview with me about the founding of the AFL on the 50-year anniversary, and which I did a big thing with Lamar and Bud. And so his VP of Communications finally got him to agree to do it, and I was so excited. And I was going to interview him on Monday after the Bills played the Titans. And that's when Bud shot the finger twice at the Bills. And needless to say, Ralph wasn't happy with it, and I did not get to do my interview.
Oh,
We will have more with John McClain coming up next as you listen to Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe with John McClain on with us, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. John, we haven't really gotten into it much yet, but what was your take on the whole Shedeur Sanders thing, falling from at one point in time being viewed as the number 1 overall pick, ultimately selected by Cleveland in the 5th round?
I thought it was interesting the way so many broadcasters led by Mel Kiper just blew a gasket because NFL teams didn't have him rated as high as they did. And it's obvious a lot of those things about the meetings that we read and heard about turned out to be true. A lot of it had to do with his daddy, going back to when Deion said, well, we're going to decide where he goes. And if I coach in the NFL, it's going to be a team where my sons are. As somebody pointed out, if you're a really gifted, talented prospect, you can put up with a sideshow. But if you're a backup competing for a backup role, nobody wants the circus in town. And that's what it is. I think it's great he's getting away from his dad for the first time in his career. Hopefully he's been humbled. And the problem is, Jimmy Haslam, as people have written and said in Cleveland, forced that pick on him the way he did Johnny Manziel and the way he did Deshaun Watson, because you don't draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and turn around and draft one in the 5th round. Last time that had happened was 2012, RG3 first pick, Kirk Cousins 4th pick. You're just asking for trouble. They got Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickens. They're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster. So if they can't put one of the rookies on the practice squad, because you have to expose them to waivers and somebody would claim them. So they have been put in a terrible situation. Every time Shedeur throws a pass in training camp, they're all going to be charted. Dylan Gabriel's going to be an afterthought. You know, he's undersized. He's short, has a great arm, though. Had velocities like nobody else. 74, nobody else hit 70. And, but it's typical Brown, so much dysfunction. If they start slow, will Deion go on social media and attack them? Will the media, Kevin asks Stefanski every week, are you worried about losing your job? Are you worried about Deion coming? It's just a sideshow no team needs. I hope Sanders handled it so much better than a lot of media people did, but I've never seen a prospect with so many people. And I'm not talking about just reporters. I'm talking about the former general managers, personnel people, scouts who are in the media, who watch tape, who had him rated so much higher than NFL teams had him rated.
So I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but all this talk of collusion you think is just preposterous, that there was none of that going on?
Why in the world would there be any collusion? I mean, if they think you can help them win, they'll take anybody. And I saw charges of racism. And the last time I looked, Cam Ward was black. The last time I looked, black general managers that needed quarterbacks were passing him up. So the collusion thing is ridiculous. It's obvious. NFL teams did not think as highly of him as a prospect as so many people in newspapers, on ESPN, NFL Network, everywhere. And I was guilty of that. I watched him play like 5 games last year, 11 over the last 2 years. I saw him have great comebacks, make great passes. I thought he'd be drafted higher, but I hope Deion is yet to weigh in on it. Can't wait till he finally does, but Deion doesn't know. Humble is not in his vocabulary. Maybe it will be with Shedeur.
John, what do you think about the report that came out from Adam Schefter that the Giants offered up pretty much all of Manhattan for Cam Ward and the Titans said, no, thank you?
Well, usually Adams gets information that's accurate. He's the best in the business. And obviously they love Cam Ward. And I think you're smart not to do it because you still need a quarterback. You need a quarterback next year. It's a better draft, but there's no guarantee you're going to get one. And so Cam Ward, I felt terrible for Ward because he was almost ignored. ESPN, somebody said, I didn't know the S stood for Sanders because it was all about him and nothing about Ward. But Ward, of course, handled it with class. And by the way, to the Titans fans who are listening, Gunnar Helm, the tight end from Texas, is really good. That was a real good pick for where they got it.
John, on Monday, Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi met the media, and there's still, John, the question of who's running. I mean, is it Borgonzi or Brinker? And they didn't even make it more clear. In fact, I think it became more clouded on Monday. Did you ever have a situation? I know you had Floyd and the GMs to talk to with a kind of a go-to guy, a stopgap guy. What do you make of the situation when the director of football operations and a GM come out to evaluate a draft?
First of all, Brinker has final say. I don't know why there's any question about that up there. He has final say. And if he wanted to overrule him, he could. But I don't see that happening. If it's a big pick like Cam Ward, of course they're going to let Amy Adams Strunk know, and she's going to sign off on it. She's not going to do like her daddy did with Vince Young and force him to take Vince Young because he knew everybody in Houston wanted him. And so you hope that they have a meeting of the minds. And the guy that's under the most pressure, of course, is Brian Callahan. Even though he's got a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward's got to show progress as he's done every year since he left high school close to Houston. And Bergonzi is the personnel expert, but if the head coach and the GM can't agree, they're going to Brinker, and he's going to break the tie. And what they'll tell you is, it hasn't happened. We haven't had to do that.
You've seen rebuilds, by teams in your life, and I think we can all agree the Titans are certainly in that. In your opinion, do they need to continue to be patient, and especially with Brian Callahan as he develops Cam Ward, as they put pieces around him? I mean, yes, they drafted 2 receivers, but they were in the 4th round. So I think we call those toss-ups to see how they're going to be. They signed his undrafted receiver from Miami that he's obviously close with, but this is still very much a work in progress. So my thing is, you got to be patient with Callahan. Do you think they will be?
Well, I have no idea because Bergonzi's not been in this position and Brinker has not been in this position. And I would think that you don't want to win 1 or 2 games next year. That's not showing progress. Try to win 5 or 6. Watch Cam Ward improve as the season goes and gives you hope for the next off season. So I'm guessing he'll get at least 3 seasons to show progress. And then in the second year, you'd want Cam Ward's career to kind of take off. They don't have the kind of talent the Texans had with C.J. Stroud or the Commanders had with Jaden Daniels. Maybe these guys will develop, but mainly you just want to see progress.
John, with the a lot of talk about Quinn Ewers giving up $6 million roughly to go in the 7th round of the draft, do you think now we're going to see quarterbacks in college stay longer? Because if Arch Manning stays 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is, he's going to make nearly $30 million. He won't make that in his first couple of years in the National Football League. Do you see a trend now, John, where guys are going to stay in college longer because they're getting paid more than they would get in the NFL?
Well, Quinn Ewers had made a fortune from the moment he skipped his senior year of high school to go to Ohio State for $1 million. He had all kind of money he earned. His family's not poor either. They just like to shoot a lot of animals. And which I thought was a terrible look, and got so many comments about the room he was in where he had to wait till the 7th round. So he's not earning for money. But I'll tell you this, whenever Arch Manning comes out, he'll be the first overall pick, and he will make more money as the first overall pick than he would make in NIL money. I went to University of Texas luncheon here this week with Steve Sarkisian, and the poor old Longhorns are only going to have like 35 million to spend on their football team this year. And I'm guessing that's first in the country. Maybe Ohio State's in that neighborhood as well. But I think if you're an Arch Manning, you're coming out. Now, I don't think he's coming out this season. I think he'll be in school at least 2 seasons. He has 3 years of eligibility left, but it's like with Andrew Luck and Jim Harbaugh, who coached him, said when he comes out, he'll be the first overall pick. Just like we knew when Trevor Lawrence came out, he'd be the first overall pick. And so people here are eager to see Manning, and Manning already has made a fortune, and he could do a whole lot more if he wanted to. Companies are just lining up, trying to get Arch Manning to represent them. and but he's dialed it back, and he'll have to be happy with being a multimillionaire instead of making like 50 million, which he probably could do,
Right.
because those Longhorns got a lot of billions to spend.
Oh, yes, they do. Hey, John, real quick, Adam Schefter just put this out about 40 seconds ago. The NFL has fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft. What do you think about that?
I think it's amazing, and I don't know about his son. You can't put him in a timeout chair at 21. That's going to follow him on his resume his whole career. I feel terrible for Ulrich. It was who would think you can't leave your laptop open? But that's going to change everything about the way they do that next year for the draft.
Going to be interesting to see. John, thanks as always. We appreciate it.
Guys, my pleasure. Thank you very much. Can't wait to see Cam Ward on the field.
Going to be fun. We will talk to you next week. John McClain joining us here on the program every Wednesday at 9:30, and he is presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow.
Love it. Your jersey thing has hit a nerve with quite a bit of people.
Yes.
Including one Peyton Manning. And I'll explain about the jersey.
Peyton, listen to the show. Appreciate it. Hey, you can join our very own Big Joe Dubin this Saturday from 10 to noon at Coleman Tractor of Nashville for Kubota Orange Days. There will be exclusive deals on compact tractors, zero turns, and more with special financing available. The sale runs from 9 to 2 with demos, deals, giveaways, and lunch from 11 to 1. Coleman Tractor of Nashville, 7221 Whites Creek Pike in Jolton. That's on Saturday. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game on this Wednesday. Continuing the fun discussion. And again, if you missed it, the Falcons have been fined $250,000 for the prank call. Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, fined $100,000 because it was his son that made the prank call. The Falcons have released this statement, quote, "We appreciate the NFL's swift and thorough review of last week's data exposure, and the event that transpired due to it. We were proactive in addressing the situation internally and cooperated fully with the league throughout the process and accept the discipline levied to Coach Jeff Ulbrich and the organization. We are confident in our security policies and practices and will continue to emphasize adherence to them with our staff on and off premises. Additionally, the Ulrich family is working with the organization to participate in community service initiatives in relation to last week's matter."
Woo! Well, we said Monday they were going to get Falcons are going to be fine. You
Yep.
make an example of them. I did not think they would go after the defensive coordinator. So that's something else.
No, I mean, it's funny. It's like we were talking in our group chat Sunday night. It's not their fault, but it is their fault.
Correct.
Because he's an
Yeah.
employee. He had sensitive information at his home. He clearly, and I mean, like, we all do it. Like, we all have something and put it on our desk or whatever. It's like, it's your home. You think you're good. And his idiot 21-year-old son, and guess what? I can say that because I was an idiot 21-year-old son at one point in time, just like you were. And so we've all done dumb bleep, in our life. But he left it sitting out thinking that it'll be all good. And his idiot son saw the number and was like, hey, let's, and it was, I'm sure he's sitting around with his buddies and could show off, hey, I have Shedeur Sanders' number. Let's mess with him.
Yeah. I got it's not, to me, that's not sensitive information. It's not. I mean, like going to war against China, that's
okay.
sensitive
Well,
information.
right. But I mean, like the phone numbers that are distributed specifically for the draft, I mean,
Should be private.
yeah,
yeah, should be-
that doesn't
okay.
need to be out on Twitter.
Exactly.
And you can clearly see him looking at a piece of paper,
Yep.
looking up the number.
I
So-
love his apology. It's like, Shedeur, there was a moment. I'm so sorry. I mean, whatever. But somebody had to pay, and it's over. Good.
What do you think? What do you think Shedeur said on the other end? What if he was like, "Hey, bro, that was pretty funny."
Yeah. You got me. You got me. Who knows? But look, it's Falcons had to pay for it now. Arthur Blank. When you got to write a check and you're pissed off and you just don't want to do it, he's writing that check and just mad.
Don't do dumb that hurt the team.
Yeah, basically. Thank you, Mike.
Probably not. To see all that, but good. I'm glad they paid.
Probably not.
I thought it would be a lot more than that, but
Nah, I'm good with it. It's fine. Here's what you've done. Arthur Blank can cut that check very easily.
yeah,
And I'm sure he's pissed off about it, but it's just like, you know what? It is what it is. Jeff Ulbrich can cut that check, and it hurts him more than it hurts Arthur Blank, for sure. But he can, they do it, and now it's like the league's done their job.
yeah,
The league looks good.
Yeah.
The league's like, hey, we addressed it, we came down on him, and now everybody moves on.
What was that phone call like from Papa to his son?
I can't say. Look, I can tell you right now, had that been me and my dad would have been like, I'm going to effing kill you.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I mean, so here's a funny story. Me and my buddies, my mom is a teacher, and she taught like the little kids during the summer. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, Parents' Day out and stuff like that. And so me and my friend had gone to work with her one day. We actually got in trouble because we prank called Jenny Craig, and they called back.
Yes. I love it.
But guess how old we were?
Oh,
We
yeah.
were like 10.
Prank calls are the greatest. Your dad would have killed you. And with my dad, it'd been like, Dad, are you there? Dad, are you there? Dad. Oh my God.
I just like getting Dr. Crane every
if
time
you
I do
know,
that.
you know.
Every time.
If you know, you know. But my goodness, I can only imagine the meltdown that Dad had when what about when he first found out? Like, I can't believe this, and somebody said, "Hey, you need to look at this," and he's like, "Oh my God, you got to be kidding me!" And then the blood pressure went off the
Oh,
charts.
I would have trashed my office. I would have just thrown
Can you
stuff.
imagine? I mean, now, like John McClane said, now you're a footnote.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, oh, you're the dude. Your kid's the one that called Shador. Again, I
When
think
he
it
gets
was
named,
funny.
yeah, Jeff Ulbrich gets named head coach of
Right.
the Bengals next year. And
I
it's like, so
look,
when your kid made the prank call, how did that make
right. Did you punch the wall or kick
you
the
punch
wall?
the walls? No
Again,
questions about Burrow or anything.
None of that.
else.
I love it. It's a prank call. It was not the end of the world. They pranked guys this year, last year, years before. It's just funny to me.
I
that they
think
did
I
that.
think this is just where I think I am at life because I've grown and matured some. I just think like it's funny. I laughed, and there are a lot of things that I'm like, that's funny. I laughed,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it's like it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
It's just like,
Right.
okay, like did we really need to do that? Because this is what we don't think about when we're younger. We think about it now, but we don't think about it when we're younger. And that is, this is going to be really funny for about 30 seconds, but this is going to become a thing that I'm going to have to deal with for like a week.
Right.
And so it's like, I always say, when I have conversations with people about something that's going to be said on the air or whatever, and I always say, is this going to get me a phone call or a meeting? And I don't want either one of those things.
Get
So
it right
you
there,
got to
brother.
remember that.
Love it.
Hello, Bart. Now listen, I need you to go to the gas station. Tell them you need to inflate your tires, but actually, you inflate these volleyballs. Then throw them over the wall of the prison to create chaos and confusion.
Was that a new one?
Yeah, that was basically what that phone call was. Sure, Sanders and Ulbricht's son.
Basically.
I like it. All right, so we'll tease ahead to the Peyton
I want to know
Manning.
what Peyton had to say.
Well, it's not Peyton didn't have to say, but Peyton has a part in a retired jersey history, which might be
he
some
does.
clarity.
Yeah,
on some of
he
this.
does. You're right.
Yes.
That is true.
Oh,
Tune in.
man, kept putting words in my mouth. Sorry.
Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight as the Sounds take on Gwinnett. I wish if you're watching the stream, you know why I'm laughing. Pre-game at 5:50, first pitch at 6:05 on the app and GameNashville.com. Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan. I can't do it. It's presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure.
Peyton Manning.
Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. And, of course, you can weigh in on anything we're talking about at 615-737-1025, our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
So Peyton Manning goes to the Broncos in 2012 and wants to wear number 18. Now, they retired number 18 to Frank Tripucka. But the Broncos subsequently retired his number 18 jersey. And on March 9th, 2012, Tripucka, whose son Kelly Tripucka played basketball at Notre Dame, stated he would allow 18 to be worn again by only one person, and that's Peyton Manning, if the Broncos were to sign him. 11 days later, a press conference announcing his signing by the Broncos, John Elway thanked Frank Tripucka for allowing the franchise to borrow the number for Manning. On March 7th, 2016, the 18 jersey returned to retirement when Manning announced he was retiring after 18 seasons with the Broncos. So I don't know if, look, Peyton probably said behind the scenes, hey, man, I'll come here, but I want that number 18 number. And like, well, it's retired. And then the wheels got in motion to do that. So this is a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about this?
Pretty much.
I mean, we're yelping about Cam Ward and Warren Moon, and here is, Manning basically doing the same thing. Like, I'd like to have it, but, and then he gets the number and he bingo. Now, Manning's jersey's retired by the Colts, but the Broncos said, we'll give it to you, but we're going to retire it back again when you leave.
Would you care if a member of the Titans wore number 65?
No, but that's retired by Bethea.
Yep.
Okay.
Would you care if they wore number 43?
That Ken Houston?
Jim Norton.
Jim Norton. That crazy
63?
Is that, I don't know who that, that's Munchak?
Yep.
Yes.
74?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so it,
All right, Chase McCabe, here's a question for you and Dr. Crane and for our audience out there. What player is the only one whose number retired by 2 NFL teams? This guy is the only player whose number was retired by 2 teams. Fun fact, he played in the 80s and the 90s. So it's not like some dude who played in the 1918 team.
80s and 90s, number retired by 2 teams.
The only player in NFL history's number retired by 2 teams.
Steve Young?
It is not. Okay. He only played with 1 team.
No, he didn't.
Well, the Bucks for a tad bit, but not much. Yeah, you're right.
I think Brady will be because Tampa will probably retire 12.
Sure.
80s and 90s. You got a guess?
No, nothing comes to my mind. I believe Jerry Rice played for only the Niners. Correct?
Oh,
no, he played for.
It's Jerry Rice.
It is not. Jerry Rice played for the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Raiders.
Yeah.
This guy is no longer with us.
Quarterback?
No.
Running back?
No. He is from the great state of Tennessee.
Reggie White.
Reggie White. Green Bay and Philadelphia.
Yeah. There you go.
Boom. There are 3 NFL teams, Chase McCabe, who don't retire numbers. Traditionally do not retire numbers. 3 teams. One of those being your favorite team.
Cowboys. Yeah. But they don't, but like nobody wears 8, nobody wears 12.
But they're not retired.
Right. But that's why the whole 88 thing, people complain about 88, but there's there's a reason for that. Like the guy that wore it like Drew Pearson kind of gave it to Irvin, and then Irvin kind of gave it, that's kind of how they do it.
It's like that thing at LSU. Everybody wears 7. If you're a key player, you wear 7.
Yeah. And 11 at Penn State, All right, so the Cowboys are 1. Are the Raiders?
Not a boy.
Yeah,
they don't do it. And there's one more team that just got fined $250,000 today.
Falcons.
Falcons were the one. The Buffalo Bills have only retired 1 number under the prior ownership. Now they're going to retire more numbers because of the new owner, but the only number retired, and you nailed this.
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. I thought for sure it would have been OJ. Was it retired? They unretired? I don't know.
See, I thought it was retired, but it's not. Nobody wears it, right?
Nobody wears it. And the number 00 is no longer allowed as of right now. But who knows? what happens.
You might want to, according to the internets, Buffalo has 3 numbers retired.
It's now it does.
Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and Bruce Smith.
Yeah, now, but it
Oh.
didn't for under
Oh,
Ralph
gotcha.
Wilson did
Under
not
Ralph Wilson.
do it.
Okay.
Now the new ownership has said, okay. So you would think that Ralph Wilson, who owned the team for so long that Bud Adams hated, according to John McClain, would have gotten more stuff on there. So there it's with that's going on.
Actually, oh wow. So I just saw this in 2019, Bills let another player wear number 32 for the first time in 42 years. It was Sonoris Perry, the running back.
Sounds about right.
Huh. Interesting.
And Joe, who has the most numbers retired in NFL history per team?
It will be the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants, 14 each.
Wow.
Retired numbers. Our friend Chip Walters weighs in and says, big difference retiring a jersey and retiring a number. Chip, don't make me think hard this morning.
I know what he's saying though. So
That's not him.
but okay. So along those lines, what was Byard? They just retired his. Didn't they call it a jersey retirement?
Nah, I guess.
So will anyone at middle wear 20? Was it 20?
20, yes.
Yeah. Wear 20 again?
Yep. I don't know. Now I'm like that Julia Roberts meme. My mind's working in different ways right now.
I don't know. Again, I
Oh,
think
goodness.
I'm just very mixed on it of like if a team was like the Cowboys and never retire numbers, it's like, okay, I'm good with it. Like now, is it weird? Like if I see if all of a sudden this year there's a Cowboys wide receiver wearing number 8, I'm gonna be like, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
But like 88 hadn't bothered me. Even though like I associate that with Michael Irvin.
I mean,
And Dez.
I'm going down all these numbers. This is a fascinating list with you could all day on this. So see what happened now. Thanks to you, Warren Moon. You've opened the gates, man. All that's happening here. Yeah. On and on and on. All these teams that did that. I didn't know Eli Manning's jersey's already retired.
With the Giants?
Yeah. I forgot
10?
about that. Yep. Sure
Is
did.
there and it's retired at Ole Miss, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think
Archie's
it is.
I'm trying to go because I remember
The
looking
speed
at the
limit
wall.
on campus in Oxford, Mississippi is 18 miles an hour for Archie.
That's fast though.
And it is. It's a thing.
It is retired at Ole Miss.
Okay.
So I wonder if they dropped it to 10.
I don't know.
Ole Miss people, are there spots on campus that it's 10 miles an hour because of Eli? But like I noticed, like we pulled on campus, me and my buddy, and I was like, "Why is it 18?" And they're like, "Archie." I'm like, oh, okay.
So the Titans got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers retired.
Campbell, Moon, Steve, Eddie, Norton, Munchak, Matthews, and Bethea.
There you go.
Bethea.
Good job. This is I could look all day on this list. This is
Oh,
crazy.
look, it's a fascinating conversation.
So in hindsight, I don't care what number Cam wears. He wants to wear 1.
Yeah.
Your mama gave you 1. You can wear 1. I don't care.
Justin and Greenbrier has finally figured out how we do things. What do you do when the topics of the day get stale? You get creative and let the magic of the moment take over. These are the days I love this program the most, when the train is fully off the rails.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's because I asked for Frank Tripucca's number back in. He said, no, man. I said, I'll take that. By the way, Frank Tripucca died the next year. So
2438 says this is totally different. Peyton Manning was a Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame player when he went to the Broncos and got that number totally different. Cam Ward is a bum who hasn't done anything in any of his collegiate career, never won anything, and then wants to wear Warren Moon's Hall of Fame number. It's completely different.
as I told somebody about this argument,
I don't know if he's a bum.
if Chase McCabe goes to Dollar Tree and you steal gum, are you a thief?
Yes.
Are you a crook?
Yes.
Yeah. You go
I
across,
committed a crime.
you go across the street to the bank and steal $10,000. Are you a crook?
I might be a creep too.
That
yeah.
too. Are you a thief?
Hey, I'll be up a creek too.
You're still a crook.
Yes.
I mean, so
It
whether
doesn't matter. You're right.
doesn't
That's-
matter
yeah.
what you're doing to do that. I got no like. Who cares? You want to do it? That's fine. Just don't wear Earl Campbell number. Then I'm okay. That's hypocrisy coming out again. Don't wear Earl
Well,
Campbell's
but
jersey.
I mean, like Dustin says this Manning had won Super Bowls. Cam has never played an NFL game. If he comes in his cheeks, it belittles the number, in my opinion. That's why people are mad, because it's like he's never played a down. So if he comes in and flames out in 4 years, then it doesn't do anything to Warren Moon and his legacy,
right?
But they look at it as it's disrespect towards that number.
Did I miss Cam Ward coming out saying I want number 1 or else? Did I miss
he
that?
said no. He said he called him. He asked him. Warren said he'd think about it. He showed up at the press conference with the jersey.
Okay.
Thing that rubs me the wrong way is when they asked him, "Have you seen any of his highlights?" Because I had to go on YouTube and watch things about him. I'm like, see,
He doesn't even know who he is. That's the
Yeah.
other part. It's
And
just
to what Chase is saying. If this ends up becoming a catastrophe, where Cam Ward doesn't live up to the number 1,
right?
To me, it taints that number 1 for Warren Moon. Even though he's a Hall of Famer, he's done everything in his capacity, but it now taints the number and taints the Hall of Fame aspect of things.
So what happens now if, like, in a week, Cam comes out and says, "Hey, look, I appreciate Mr. Moon giving me the number, but out of respect to him and the game and the organization, I'm going to wear number 7. I never meant to, offend anybody or start anything, so I'm just going to create my own legacy." I would be cool with it if he did that. He's not going to do that because they've started printing jerseys with 1 on it. But if he did that, I would actually gain a little respect for him.
I'd clean his cleats every week.
All right, back to you. All right, you ever see the Beatles perform?
No, I was never alive for that.
Exactly. So where do you go see him perform?
Online.
Go to YouTube.
But
yeah.
I
so that's
do
not
my
an
research for
excuse.
that, though.
That's fine. It's not. So where's
He didn't
gonna
do his research for this, though.
How do you know he didn't go on YouTube and watch clips of Warren Moon?
They asked him in this press conference. They asked him. They said, "Hey, did you know anything about Warren Moon?" I had to look up stuff about him. This is before the whole asking of number 1.
Okay,
like
you had
that.
to look stuff up about him. That's fine.
That's an issue for me.
They look stuff up for him?
No, the fact that you go after the number 1 and you had to go look stuff up after you asked for it. That's my issue. It's not all in the same timeline. That's what makes me upset about it. I'm a very loyal person. I like to show respect towards other people.
Yeah,
if you don't do something right, that's not respectful. To me, this is, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but it's not organic.
You're getting old.
I like it.
You're getting an attitude. I like it.
I'm just saying he should have easily worn number 7, make a career for himself, call it a day.
I'm with you. By the way, Wesson Hermitage just texted us and said the Titans did not hire Jerry Rice. Please say that. Oh, please say that on the air.
That was
There's fake news going around and people are driving me crazy with that. I read that as please take that off there. I'm like, we don't have that.
By the way, Facebook is slowly going to the depths of hell with all.
I like what Mike Organ's doing now, where he's like talking.
Yeah,
it's
all
pretty
the
funny.
fake stuff. There's a picture out there of Jerry Rice was named assistant, and people fell for it. I'm like, stop, question everything. Stop that. Jerry Rice is not the assistant general manager of the Tennessee. I saw it and laughed. In fact, people are like, great hire. We'll be good. And somebody wrote, hope he works with the wide receivers. I'm like, come on, people. Yeah. So thank you, Wes. That's just a Facebook thing that's going on right now.
You're welcome. I'm enjoying the texts that are like, move on to talking about the draft. This topic's old.
Not at all.
Then why are people talking about it?
Why are they talking about it, Chase?
So, anywho, good stuff there from Peyton Manning. We will have more coming up next. Nashville. And by the way, Dr. Crane, I like it when you get impassioned like that. That was very good.
Thank you.
Bring the passion, as Terry Crisp says.
Every day.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Prince's Hot Chicken, the original and iconic hot chicken joint. For a limited time, grab half off a $25 gift card at thegamenashville.com/deals. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. It is Wednesday. We're having a wonderful time. This text line is popping today. Wes and Hermitage says, I think I'm going to start a fake news podcast. Y'all understand how well that would do.
Oh, it would be. Just go over to the Unathletic, where our good friend Ricky Merritt is the insider for every sport around.
Yes. Yeah. Now, he reported, I saw this earlier. He reported that the NHL playoffs will be played tonight.
Oh, did he?
Can't get that anywhere else.
For those that know, we go on the internet and Twitter and we troll things. Schefter had a report about something happened on Sunday, and I said, hey, my good friend Rick Merritt had that on Wednesday. Please give him credit. And it happened on a Saturday. And someone's like, it didn't happen till Saturday. How did your friend know? I'm like, he just knows. I do this all the time on the internet. So
my favorite is when you do that to like a young reporter that's just trying to do everything right and just, doing whatever's been asked of them. And then they're like literally like, I'm so sorry. I would give proper credit.
I said, please, Rick Merritt is breaking all these stories, and then you've got to give him credit. It just confuses them so much. That's my prank call.
Right.
I still prank call.
Exactly. You still do it.
Yep.
It's on Twitter. And so Ricky says to me recently, he goes, yeah, I know you don't like it when I troll. And I go, no, I love it when you troll. I love it when you mess with people that aren't me.
Right. You do.
Y'all can troll anybody you want. Just leave me out of it.
I need to get your reaction to the Pacers eliminating the Bucks last night in the NBA playoffs. You called it. You said they're going to take that 4-1, and the Pacers beat the Bucks. So good job, Chase. I mean,
you want to know how I feel about it?
Yeah.
This is how I feel about it. Thank you. Good job.
Oh, I love it. I don't know a single person watching the NBA playoffs. And I talked to a lot of people.
I will flip through if there's nothing. I've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs because it's more compelling, and I like hockey more than I like basketball, the NBA. So I've been watching that. But, we're at that time of year where it's just – and here's the other thing that I don't think a lot of people understand, because it's like, I'm not a banker, so I don't understand the busy time for a banker. I don't even know when that is. But I don't understand that. Like, I'm not a accountant that does taxes, so I don't understand what tax season's like. So I get it. But the draft, and when people are like, why aren't you breaking down the draft? What else are we going to talk about?
Right.
That you're not going to learn anything until camp. Adam in Portland, or who said that? Somebody said, Dustin said, talking about the draft is old. Nothing new to report till camp. Exactly. And we obviously talk about it, but it's just sometimes you got to have a break and have fun. And so that's why, I'm in that season where I'll probably back off on watching some sports just because I need a break too.
It's good times there. By the way, last night, the Senators defeated the Maple Leafs 4-0. They now lead that series 3-2.
Film at 11. Dylan says, I'm fine with any conversation that doesn't have the name Sanders in it and had an overdose during the draft.
Oh, nice.
Maybe a better analogy there, but
right.
Play a drinking game, maybe.
4657 wants to know, why does the Manning impersonation sound like Elvis?
All right, here we go do this again. Because I think they're one and the same. They're both from that part of the country down there. So it's just you start talking and you just learn your speech a little bit. Like you have some tequila and then just get a little deep tone to it. Like, man, I want to come back for my senior year at Knoxville. They'd be like I said, my girlfriend Ginger, stand up, Ginger, sit down, Ginger, that's enough, Ginger. Oh, my daddy Vernon's here today. It all comes together at one point. So thank you for that. Just don't get me my trigger word. Chase knows what my trigger word is. So
what your trigger word is Memphis?
Yeah. The Sounds playing the Memphis Redbirds like, Memphis, man. I go to AutoZone Park and see the Redbirds playing, Memphis. That's it. So
here we go. Somebody wants to is 7829. ESPN literally has their highest ratings ever in the first round of the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Good for them.
No,
I'm sure they've there are a lot of people that watch it, and that's fine.
That's fine. But no,
I mean,
that's our
last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo gets into a fight with, is it Halliburton's dad? Is that who it was?
the guy.
Tyrese Halliburton? Yeah, he got into a shoving match with some dude's dad because he pissed him off.
As our good friend Greg Pogue says, Britney Spears sold 30 million albums. Doesn't mean she's any good.
I remember him saying
Right?
that.
That's a great analogy. That's fine if you want to watch it. That's fine. But I'm not wasting
Yeah,
a second
and look,
on it.
when we get to the finals, when it gets to the finals, I'll probably watch it because they'll have the Stanley Cup one night and all that. But it's not my thing. I enjoy going to games, and maybe if there was a team here, I'd follow it more. But the Grizzlies, like, sorry, David James, but they're disappointing. I mean, they just they made the playoffs. They got a player that could be a game changing, huge superstar that can't get out of his own way.
Do you remember we had the mayor of Memphis on like 12 years ago?
Yeah.
And
That's when like they went on their run, right?
Yeah.
That was like grit and grind. Now, see, that was fun. I enjoyed watching that.
And
Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley.
He had a great sense of humor, and I told him that joke, which he didn't like. Do you remember?
No.
I said that Arkansas is going to take Memphis from Tennessee, and it's going to raise the IQ of both states. And he did not like this. I mean, it's a long time. It's a joke, right?
Yeah. Okay, so seven. Yeah,
Sorry.
I remember that. 7829 makes a good point because he has brought up our rule that I don't like.
Uh-oh.
He said, yes, the NBA. I'm just saying that Joe said no one watches. That is not true. You don't watch. So he's right. He's right for bringing that up.
The friends that I talk to, that's my group of circles.
Sure.
They're not.
But it is factually inaccurate to say no one because you're implying no one in the universe watches that, and that's not true.
When you take it to the literally from the figuratively.
Well,
yes.
I'm taking it literally. 6638 says, are they playing basketball right now?
Literally in his circle, his inner circle?
Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, we have a lot of, similar circles that like similar things. So our people are probably not watching the NBA playoffs.
And I told you the soccer thing. I was a guy, I was like, nobody soccer. If you enjoy soccer, I'm all for it, man. Go enjoy it.
You have your 30-second in Nashville SC update. You gave it earlier that Mike Jacobs is now the president of soccer operations, I guess is what they're calling it. Football would also be accurate. He won't be he is the GM or something like that.
Still the active GM.
How are they doing and when is their next game?
They're doing really well. They just tied a career high.
Honey Mukhtar had like 8 goals the other night, right?
2 goals. Sam Sturridge had 4. He is
nice.
the 19th.
Super Sam.
Yeah, 19th player in MLS history to do so. Second one in 2025. Nashville scored 7 goals, 7-2 final. It ties the highest amount of goals.
Gave up a safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave up a safety. Highest amount of goals scored in one match. And they're on to the next game against Atlanta this weekend. Away.
Oh, down in the ATL?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Very nice. Well, good. I'm glad the season's going better.
Yeah.
For them.
Big response from this past weekend. So moving forward.
Talking Calcio.
You got that right.
Where can I hear that?
You can hear it on the Game Nashville Sports Network podcast.
There we go. And I can just subscribe to it.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can do anything.
When's a new one drop there, buddy?
Already dropped.
I love it.
Monday morning.
Speaking of things you can listen to, I'm very excited. A lot of racing fans have asked me if I was going to do this again. Tonight at 6 o'clock here on 102.5 The Game, I will bring back Chasing Checkers. So we'll talk some racing at 6 o'clock here on these airwaves. I'm very excited to do that. Lot to react to with Talladega, including my man Chipper Jones getting pissed off at Joey Logano. So we'll have to talk about that some. So we will do that. Coming up next, what day is it and celebrity birthdays? But first, Dr. Crane, I'm going to do a giveaway. Caller number 3 at 615-737-1025. You can win tickets to see Pierce the Veil at Municipal Auditorium on Wednesday, June 4th. Caller 3, 615-737-1025. You will win those tickets. Celebrity birthdays, what day is it? Next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, The Game. On this Wednesday, we'll be at the Omni Nashville Hotel tomorrow. The midday show is out and about today, so be listening to them. They're in Portland at a job fair event, so they'll tell you more about that.
Nice. Portland, Tennessee.
Yes,
obviously.
Portland. Yeah, no, Maine,
Or
actually.
Oregon. All right.
Or Oregon. Mike Oregon. Coming up right now, though, it is time for What Day Is It and Celebrity Birthdays. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. The only company you need for commercial construction services. Visit them at jarrettcompanies.inc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on this, we have Adopt a Shelter Pet Day. Always
Oh,
do something like that. Something
You,
nice.
you met a dog yesterday, didn't you?
Archie, awesome dog from Nashville Humane.
Was
So
very
cute.
excited to see you.
Oh, yes.
All right.
He brought his pencil, too.
He did.
Very studious of him. All right, next on the list we
the
have.
dog was very, very excited to see everybody.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
What a great pet.
We've lost a co-host.
Bugs Bunny Day is today.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Another pet stuffed animal type thing.
Nice.
Day of Child Day is today. I don't know what that means, but Day of Child.
Like it?
I
Um,
literally just fell out of the chair.
Denim Day is today. Get your Canadian tuxedos.
All right.
Hairstyle Appreciation Day.
Yes.
Joe's got the same haircut. Pretty good. Let's see. International Guide Dog. Joe, don't give me that look.
For what?
Nothing.
They're making fun of me. I'm good with it.
I'm
You
not
can't- all
making
day-
fun of you.
You tried to.
Well, never mind. International Jazz Day is today. Let's see. International Noise Awareness Day. That's every day for me. National Animal Advocacy Day. Let's see. National Bubble Tea Day. You guys ever had bubble tea?
No, but Chase one night had bubble guts.
Is that the same?
Yeah. No, it's not. The Bee Gees. The Bee Gees are playing.
Continuing. National Honesty Day. National Military Brats Day. National Oatmeal Cookie Day.
Yes.
Delicious. National Mr. Potato Head Day. I mean, a good little Mr. Potato Head. Let's see. National Raisin Day is today. Stop Food Waste Day. And last one we have is Spank Out Day. National Spank Out. I don't know how to describe that one. It's just
Wait.
it's National Spank Out Day.
It's a family show.
Can you
dude.
say it again one more time?
National Spank Out Day. It has a gentleman.
No.
No, we don't need
We don't. We're good.
We don't need to know.
Oh my God.
Oh, why is Sean Fort calling me right
You're
now?
the best,
Sean,
man.
I'm just reading them, man.
They're just reading. We're reacting. That's all we're doing.
National-
It's like the spelling bee. You know, I need a word in a sentence.
Yeah, well, yep, there you go. Thank you, Dr. Crane. That was good.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Time for celebrity birthdays. Get these within two.
Spank out.
This guy, this young man was born on the 29th, but he celebrates on the 30th. And I looked it up, and this is, I don't know why, but how old is Willie Nelson?
Okay, Willie is 86.
89.
92
Oh,
today.
wow.
From the Big Bang Theory. I guess he was on there. Johnny Galecki.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was also in Christmas Vacation.
He was. That's
He was
right.
Rusty. He's 45
50.
He was, wasn't he? He was Rusty. He's 50 exactly.
because
Dr.
Rusty
Crane,
and what's the girl's name?
Audrey.
Audrey. They're played by different people in every movie.
That's right. Kirsten Dunst.
I had such a big crush on her. 41.
44.
43. Dr. Crane's up 3-0. Dr. Crane pepping the outsides. I love it. I like it a lot. Going down here and see some more. Rapper Travis Scott.
Tag team partner of John Cena. 31.
33.
34. 4-0, Dr.
Terrible
Crane.
today. I get accused of cheating and just go in the toilet.
One of the Osmond brothers, Merrill Osmond. How old's Merrill Osmond today?
Donnie's brother.
Yes.
Is that right?
It is.
73.
77.
72. Chaser knows his
No,
Osmonds.
my Osmonds. I'm a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
The bass player, one of my favorite bands of all time, Robert Reynolds of the Mavericks, who lives here in Nashville. Used to be married to Trisha Yearwood. Robert Reynolds.
72.
75.
63. Rapper Turbo B of Snap.
47.
52.
58. Country singer Carolyn Dawn Johnson.
60.
65.
54. Singer Akon.
37.
43.
God, you guys have flamed out. 52 right there. All right, time for some sports birthdays. Former Tennessee baseball player, Houston Astros player, Phil Garner. I think he was manager for a while, too.
52.
60.
76. Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan's best friend.
He was just at the game the other day. See, I do watch it a little bit. 64.
65.
64 exactly. Now 4-3, Dr. Crane. Chase, you got to get this one. Michael Waltrip.
Mikey. I'm going to say 62.
65.
62 dead on. Chase McCabe now leads down 4-0. He's on a 5-0 run. Dave Meggett played for the Giants. Punt returner. Great player.
58.
62.
59. McCabe is up 6-4. Final one. Elliott Sadler.
Race car driver?
Race car driver, buddy. In
Uh,
honor of your check-in chasers tonight. Or
Chasing checkers.
chasing
52.
checkers.
57.
50. Chase wins 7-4.
What a
Might be the
comeback.
greatest 7-0 run.
What a comeback.
Well done, Chase. I like you
Incredible.
were done.
That is going to do it for us. DVD coming up next.
Hey, as we always leave the show to our guys out there, know that we love you. If you are struggling, there are places that you can go and talk. You can on your cell phone, you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you. We're always here to talk to you. No matter what you are going through, please talk to someone. We'd love to hear from you. We love you. We love talking to you. Know that your journey is a beautiful journey because it's your journey. If something happened to you, you'll be tremendously missed. That's why every show, every day, we want you to know that you are tremendously loved and you're doing so well, man. We got this together. We love you. More importantly, more than anything else, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up.